So now continuing with my previous post on how I use AI to explore some of my own ideas, including consciousness um, guiding evolution and much, much more. Let me share some prompts with you from this morning as well. So first question, since experiences modulate gene activity and since experiences are all in consciousness, can we say that consciousness influences gene activity and may play a role in biological evolution or evolution of species? Is there a role that consciousness can play in biological evolution without compromising Darwinian theory? Can Darwinian theory and consciousness guided evolution through experiences shape evolution? So the first answer, very interesting because it gives you the standard answer, prevailing opinion. There's no clear evidence that consciousness directly influences gene activity or biological evolution. But of course, consciousness does influence gene activity through epigenetics, gene activity. But that's another topic. While experiences can modulate gene expression, consciousness itself does not appear to directly guide evolution in a way that would compromise Darwinian theory. Darwinian evolution is driven by natural selection acting on random genetic variations. Consciousness likely emerged gradually as a result of this process rather than guiding it, which of course I disagree with it, but that's the prevailing opinion. That said, consciousness and the experiences it enables likely play an important indirect role in shaping behavior and evolution. Conscious experiences can lead to learning and the acquisition of new skills, which may then be favored by natural selection. Consciousness also allows for complex social cognition and cooperation, which are major drivers of evolution. So, in summary, while consciousness does not appear to directly guide evolution in a Lamarckian sense, it likely plays a significant role in enabling the types of flexible, complex behaviors that are favored by natural selection. Darwinian evolution and consciousness-enabled behaviors likely work together to shape the evolution of species over time. So then I went back on the same prompt. I said, however, if consciousness is fundamental reality that leads to perceptions, images, feelings, thoughts, sensations, and guides animal behavior, if indeed consciousness is fundamental and the brain a complex field of that consciousness, then could one propose a fundamental role to consciousness in evolution theory? Now, the more interesting answer. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental property of reality, as some theories like Panpsychism propose, then it could potentially play a more direct role in evolution than the standard Darwinian view allows. The idea is that if consciousness is not just an emergent property of complex brains, but rather a fundamental aspect of the universe, then it may be able to directly influence and guide the evolutionary process in ways that go beyond natural selection, acting on random genetic variations. For example, if consciousness is present, even at the most basic levels of life, it could potentially direct the course of evolution by choosing which variations to express or amplify. Conscious experiences and insights could then feed back into the evolutionary process, shaping the development of species in a more direct way. So then he talks about, panpsychism as an emerging kind of philosophy and science. So I went again on the prompt and I said, panpsychism and consciousness is fundamental are two different things. And here's what I said. I believe there's a fundamental difference between panpsychism and non-dual philosophies. Panpsychism assumes the existence of matter and looks at consciousness as organized matter. However, the non-dual theories suggest that matter itself is a human construct for perceptual activity that includes sensations, images, sense perceptions, and feelings and thoughts, which are the fundamental activity of consciousness. So please clarify the difference between non-dual philosophies and panpsychism. So it went into its own search engine and actually showed me a video of myself expressing the difference between panpsychism and consciousness is fundamental. Here's what it said after showing me my own video. The key difference between panpsychism and non-dual philosophies like Advaita Vedanta lies in their view of the fundamental nature of reality. Panpsychism proposes that consciousness is a fundamental property of matter, either as an intrinsic aspect of all physical entities or as an additional irreducible property like mass and charge. In both cases, matter is seen as the primary substance, with consciousness as a subordinate property. In contrast, non-dual philosophies like Advaita Vedanta see consciousness as the sole fundamental reality, with matter being a conceptual construct that appears within consciousness. From this view, matter does not exist independently outside of consciousness, but is rather a particular modality of consciousness. As Bernardo Castro, who was a friend of mine, has explained, matter appears in consciousness as a particular modality of excitations of consciousness. We call these excitations our sense perceptions. Matter does not exist outside or independent of consciousness, and as such, it can't have consciousness. So, while panpsychism grants consciousness a more fundamental status than mainstream materialism, it sees matter as the primary substance. Non-dual philosophers go further by denying the independent existence of matter altogether, seeing it as a conceptual experience within consciousness. So after this, I went into, my details on consciousness-guided evolution, which I'll share with you later. But, it does help clarity. So, knowing how to use AI properly and with the appropriate prompts brings clarity and also addresses prevailed opinions, the challenges to the prevailed opinions, and gives people in the minority like me and Bernardo Kastrup and some spiritual teachers to express their worldviews with even more authority, because the search engine explores every possible worldview if you want it to. So thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts.